All right. Good evening, everyone. This is the Auburn School Buildings Committee meeting for Friday, January 17th. Before I start, this meeting is being recorded for rebroadcast. Ask if anybody else is recording. Okay, nobody is. First item, Pledge of Allegiance. All right.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. All right. Thanks everyone for coming for this quickly put together meeting. We had some developments in terms of our different runs through the different committees and stuff. Conservation Commission's we're good with them. They gave us order condition for proceeding. Zoning Board of Appeals last night granted all our variances, so that's out of the way. So the last part, actually before we get into that, let me any citizens comments? Next item on the agenda. Nope. Okay. So as we said, reported before, was the planning board was pushing back on work on West Street and the mitigation of some of the our added traffic to what's already a traffic issue out there and stuff. This past Tuesday, I should probably let Paul get up there and do it, but we met with the town manager, the chief of police, chief of the fire department, DPW, building inspector, and town planner to run through possible scenarios and stuff, and their desires of what would help get everything passed and what they would need so that we they could sign off on the project and stuff. And so that's kind of where we are tonight with what we have in front of us. So at the moment, Paul, you want to fill anything in at the moment, and then let Eric, or you can describe it all?
I was just going to go through
Okay.
from the meeting that Mark was talking about, and from the meeting we had with the planning board, a lot of changes were brought up that we had to sit down as a team and go through. The plan you're looking at in front of you, and also here on the board, are the changes that are going to be required on West Street. And basically what you're looking at is a turn lane is going to be added, or needs to be added, from West Street into the school property. And from that point on, from that turn lane all the way back to the light, it's going to be approximately, I think it's 3 lanes all the way there. And we'll also be including sidewalks on this side of the school. That's going to require relocating about 8 utility poles, I think a fire hydrant. It will require a few land takings. So it is going to be a little bit of a lengthy process for us, but this is what's going to be required by the planning board for this project to get approved so that we can start construction and move forward. Really, that's the makeup of what's happened. We have had meetings. We are sitting back down with the same team this coming Tuesday, approving all of these changes. Make sure everyone's happy with all the different city departments. And then on the 27th, we'll be going back in front of the planning board in the attempt to get everything approved. With that being said, what we're also looking for from you guys is to accept or acknowledge that this is going to have to be added to the project for the project to go forward, and to accept it to be added into the scope of work. Right now, I haven't had a chance to really go through a lot of this stuff that Niche Engineering has distributed this afternoon, but it looks like we're approximately $425,000 worth of additional work for this that we'll need to add to the scope of work for this project.
Now, keep in mind that as the estimate that was, the 60% estimate that we gave out last week, all 3 shadow estimates that are done. I mean, we're at the $1.4 million plus under our total funding, the agreement right now. So there's room inside the budget to accomplish this.
Right. I think it's
there's
understood
there's
that
also gonna
because
be-
we have a close to $1 million worth of savings already, and we haven't gone out to bid, that this work
Or
can
in-
be included into the project without increasing the budget, the total project budget. It can be absorbed into what we have estimated previously.
Does the 425,000 include the taking of the land? for the-
No, I don't think so.
So that'll have to be added on to that?
Yes.
Do we know,
Not
who
included.
owns that property now that we're dealing with?
Commonwealth of Mass owns a portion of it, and then the electrical company owns another portion.
What side of West Street are we talking about?
This side.
This side.
Correct.
So there's nothing happening as far as the residents on the 3 or 4 houses?
I don't think so. I haven't really, the intent was for it not to impact them. If it did, as minimally as possible. And it doesn't look like we are. No.
Do we have any idea what that's gonna cost us, the land to widen the roads?
There's some.
Is there some?
It's gonna have to be done.
There is?
Yeah,
Here?
I mean,
Doesn't impact the houses.
So
they
there
did-
is a little bit of widening on that side, on the opposite side.
But that portion is
The-
in the wetland area.
Actually,
It's not-
both the major portions where we have to do any land taking on West Street
Your houses start, I think, somewhere
here.
here.
is, actually, I think they moved it for, it's the orange areas up on the one on the screen?
The areas of widening are shown in red here. So as you come off of Southbridge Street, the intersection itself is not being reconfigured. The curb lines as is there are 3 lanes there, one incoming to West Street and then two lanes that exit West Street southbound onto Southbridge Street. So both of these lanes would be potentially left turn lanes. This would be a left turn only lane, and then the other lane out to West Street would be, out to Southbridge Street would be a multi-use lane. You could go left, you could go straight across to the outback, or you could take a right-hand turn there. But then this widening allows for 3 lanes wide to continue all the way back to essentially the fire department training complex here. And what that does for you is 2 things. This is kind of a transition area here. This is where it transitions from the 2 lanes that 2 lanes southbound here, allowing 2 lanes of traffic to queue up and to make that left turn lane, left turn onto Southbridge Street. And then you can see this area is used as a transition. And then you've got this left turn queue lane so that traffic coming from Southbridge Street onto West Street northbound and into the site, they can queue up. If they're not able to turn in right away, they can queue up along this left turn only lane and still allow traffic to pass them and to continue on northbound there. So the primary area of land taking for the left turn lane is all this land that's
Town-owned property, yeah.
already owned by the town. There is I believe, a small easement or land taking required for this abutter here. The Perro actually owns an easement out to West Street here, and then the rest of the widening occurs on the east side of West Street, but in an area that is still within the town right of way. But
And it is a wetland area, and it's all Mass Electric property on that side.
It's a water district in state of Mass.
Huh?
It's also Auburn Water District in state of Mass, Massachusetts.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I had 2 questions. These estimates, it says that they don't include the engineering and the easements and the permitting. Is there an estimate? I mean, are we talking thousands, tens of thousands for?
We just got this like an hour ago.
Okay.
Skanska, we forwarded over to our estimators. They Monday are going to try to get their estimates together. Usually, you do a 20% mark, 20 to 30% markup. That usually covers what your design fees are going to be, any management, anything that kind of goes into that.
20% of the
For the
total?
taking of the land, I don't have a clue.
You don't know.
Yeah.
So we could be talking $80,000?
I would think it'd be fair to say, without the land taken, maybe 475.
Okay. My second question is.
So it's more, 20% of the 425 is 85,000.
Yeah.
So,
Round it up to 500.
so you're, yeah. And then land taking, given the area that it is, I mean, we're only talking about a, you know, it's not a lot, type, and it's in the right of way. I think most of it is, anyway, of the streets. I don't know how much land taking there really is. More legals and stuff.
Yeah. It's actually less than what we had thought it was going to be. Originally, we were talking about taking land in this area, so that's actually better.
My second question is, I know it's a little bit premature before building even starts, but at the end of the day, when all the buses are leaving and all the car pickups, is there going to be some sort of, almost like a crossing guard that can stop traffic for people to get out onto West Street? Or has there been any thoughts about how to accomplish that? Or is it just gonna back up? I mean, I don't know how much traffic there is at that time of the day, but, you know, if you've got any traffic at all, the buses aren't gonna be able to get up and everything's just gonna back up into the parking lot. And I don't know if there was any contingency thinking of, you know, whether you have some sort of a crossing guard that can stop the traffic and let the buses out. I know they do it at other schools.
I can say they do that at the high school, to let the buses out. They go out to stop and they all pull out at one time.
Okay, so that would be, I guess, okay with the police? I don't know if it's ever
We do
been
it at the
brought
high
up.
school.
Okay.
There's also two different types of buses.
Right now, I pick up my grandson sometimes at Swanson Road, and the fellow that comes out there
Just comes out with a
assisting traffic,
Stop
he's
sign.
fantastic. He does a good job.
Okay.
Chairman, before there was a point made that we had monies within the budget for this. I thought this was not
No.
part of the school project, it's over and above everything.
It's over and above what we were figuring to begin with, but right now our estimates are all going to the good side. You know, the last three estimates were all $1.4 million plus under the total
school,
funding.
Yeah, but this, you couldn't take as credit as part of that. Whatever you don't spend in MSBA
Well,
figures.
yeah,
it's-
well, that's,
You lose.
if
You
it-
can do it for 42 million, and it's planned at 44, all you get is 42.
well, the town portion you can, so I mean, out inside the 44.5 is, you know, the town portion is roughly 23 million, on this project. So as we're saving money, you know, on this, then you're, you know, so it's, if we're at $1.4 million right now, we're probably at 700,000 anyway to the bottom line for the town. You know, in terms of cover, you know, safety net at the moment underneath the budget. We have an alternate that, you know, is another $400,000 or $500,000 that may or may not be used at all, and that's 100% town cost. So, I mean, that gives you another, but even at that, I mean, once we go out to bid, I think the construction numbers are gonna drop considerably. You know, enough to have, you know, enough of comfort. Plus, there's contingency monies and stuff that could be used inside of this. So, I mean, that's part of why we got together with the town, Julie and Ed and stuff, was to look at it to see, you know, if it wasn't gonna be working inside of here, was, you know, what are the other options that we could do, you know, part of it, you know, through this project, and get, you know, make a plan for the rest of it, you know, with the town. I mean, it's all town money regardless, but, so at the moment, I think we can, you know, hold it inside.
Mike, just for clarification on that, none of this being road work would be reimbursable by the SBC, is that correct?
That's correct.
That's correct.
This would all be on the town anyway.
Correct.
Correct.
We already crossed the 8% threshold for site work.
Right.
Yep.
One question I had is this type of work a road improvement, is that something that could be taken out of
Chapter 90?
Chapter 90 money or money that we put in for road improvements in the budget?
We could apply for additional monies on Chapter 90 through representatives to see if we can get more.
Because I know that we also budget money into the regular general fund for road improvements. I don't know how much that is. It's a couple $100,000, I think that is. Over and above the Chapter 90. And I'm not sure if that's money that could be used in this.
But as a result of the approval of the new school by the state and so on, and the needs that are necessary to complete the project, perhaps we can get some additional Chapter 90 monies from the Commonwealth.
Because it is road improvement. I mean, it is improvement based on a need because of the school, but I don't know if there's some way of, don't want to say financial, but I will.
So there are potentially other funding methods of going about doing this. However, this part of the work is tied into the permitting of the school project. So if that's something that can come up later or ways we can address it, then that's something we could definitely do down the road.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, we're looking, planning board, we need site plan approval so that we can start, put shovels in the ground March 1st to meet, putting students in August of 2015, only, a year and a half away. So, we're hoping that they can at least give the site plan approval and have this moving as a, parallel project,
Okay, so we're approving
the concept
the
that.
concept and how the town pays for it is still
Yeah, I mean, if.
up in the air somewhat.
Well, technically, we're going to say, right now, we have the funds
Yep,
to pay for it in this project, school project budget. Ultimately, and rightfully so, the planning board, it's not their responsibility of where this money comes from. As long as this project approves this work to be added into the project,
so that's,
and it will get done, then that's
it's at
their.
the town's discretion how they
Right.
really pay for it as long as they follow this plan.
Well, if I could, not really. If we approve this, we're approving to pay for it.
Correct.
So it's not really at the town's discretion. It's at our discretion of this project.
But I think though that, like Bob had said, I mean, if there's a chance to apply for additional Chapter 90 funds and, whether, however they make that happen, I mean, there's ways that it can happen down the road.
Correct. Then it lessens from our pot of money.
But at the moment, we've got to look at the whole enchilada because there is no other guarantee of anything at the moment. And that was kind of the need to pull it together because when we go in front of the planning board, I can't commit. I have to, it's got to say that the committee is at least, behind the concept of adding it in, and that we're going to be, taking care of it as we move forward. That it's not finalized, it's only in a draft plan at the moment, and we'll be pushing it.
How soon into the construction would this type of work be done? Is that,
Well, we will, as soon as it's approved and we're going forward, we'll have to go out and get additional engineers and go through the process of whatever contractual requirements are. There will be, again, I don't know how long the process is for taking of the land. With Mass DOT and their processes and stuff, ultimately, the goal is to have this completed by the time the school opens. Even if we can't get at least up to the light completed, at least the turn lane into the school at the opening of the school, that would be mandatory for that.
but to break ground and get the, the structure up, you don't have to do the road first?
No.
Okay, so
No. This will probably be a mad dash at the end.
at the end, okay, that's what I was getting at.
Yeah, because there's going to be, we're going to have to refile with Conservation Commission. We're going to, there's the utilities that we have to deal with in terms of utility pole relocations and stuff. There's a whole other process.
Yeah, it's one of those
Process
hurry
that's
up and
going to
wait.
take on, a little project that's going to take on a life of its own, on the front.
Are there any private parties that own any land that
I'm sorry?
would be under land taking?
I do not know off the top of my head right now. I
Like that right away, it looks as though it's Mass Electric property.
yeah, I haven't reviewed these drawings.
It's a lot easier.
It would be a lot easier, correct?
Town,
I believe, Eric, I believe all the area right now is shown inside of the right-of-way spaces, right?
I think it is. I think you'll need at least to get, I believe, grading easements from these abutters. You may not have land taking. The other thing to remember that you'll actually need to commission a survey to get ground information for this and verify these right-of-ways and
Yep.
and the layout. This was based on available GIS mapping and that sort of thing. So it's preliminary. You know, we had pretty good information. The surveyors were from Niche, and they had covered, you know, most of West Street down to there. But, you know, in this area, maybe a little more. There is one, as I said, the Perro.
Yeah, there's a
Michael Perro owns
driveway that comes out there
this
for,
driveway that comes out to West Street
Right.
there.
Does this address the sidewalk issue as well?
yes, it does put the sidewalk down West Street on the school, the Randall School side of West Street, all the way out to Southbridge Street.
Okay. Basically, right on the other side is where the sidewalk is, coming across to the other end to go across to the school, right? You wouldn't have the sidewalk continue all the way down, would you?
Eric, do you bring the sidewalk all the way to parallel with the school entrance drive,
Yes.
here.
The sidewalk now
and then bring it up the
will
entrance?
extend from
Southbridge.
this point here, all the way down, along here, across, and to the entrance right here where it will tie into the door. It's a 6-foot sidewalk, concrete sidewalk. And then it ties into there are sidewalks on both sides of, both sides of West Street along Southbridge Street.
And Southbridge Street exit and interchange is already a lighted interchange with crosswalk, push buttons and everything else on it. So we're just feeding into the interchange that's already ready for it.
So what you're needing now is a motion to refer the conceptual design that we have before us tonight, so that it's in the hands of the planning board by the 22nd.
Yes.
and these are conceptual, better than conceptual numbers. These are not hard bid out numbers.
No.
No.
It
These
says conceptual.
Yeah.
These
Even
tend to
in
be,
design.
these tend to be,
Mike, can I
On
ask
the
one
high
more
side.
question?
Rough
That's-
numbers.
I'm just curious.
Sure.
Is there a cost to this project for land that's already the town's, to do this?
You mean for taking this up on
Right.
the town?
I mean, if the town already owns the land, do we
Yeah.
have to pay for it somehow?
No. I think it's probably gonna be more in the engineering wise and layout stuff and, maybe some, legal filings and recordings just to show that it's moved from, town parcel
But the
to a
school
roadway.
project doesn't have to pay the towns in some way for the land.
Not that we're aware of, no.
I wouldn't think so.
It's already school, it's
Like
technically school department property anyway right now, because, all along the whole Randall, yeah.
But we
But-
didn't have to pay for the site.
Yeah. I mean, we had to pay for the site we bought from the Masonic Lodge, but not the rest of,
Like I
The
said,
West
just
Street,
curious, because I don't know how it works.
But it would be cruel.
What we've seen in some time, if the land is controlled by the school department, for instance, and you're gonna take part of that land for the roadway, it's a town-to-town transfer, is what we've seen. There's a legal process for that, but we haven't typically, you wouldn't see a cost associated with that.
Okay. Any other questions, discussions? All right. So Bob, were you making that motion?
We'll make that motion.
All right,
I'll second the farm.
all right. So the motion is to accept this preliminary design into the scope of the project, and as we push forward so that we can present it to the planning board and hopefully get site plan approval and move this forward. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Any other discussions, concerns?
Just one other question.
Sure.
Does this answer all the concerns of the planning board as they have up to this point
This answers everything that.
that they
We
had
believe-
concerns
we-
about?
right,
We
and
believe so, yes.
Okay.
They asked, I mean, they were very pointed about saying that if we came back with a letter from the DPW, from Coyle, you know, that, and stuff, that, and he was in agreement that this was the right way to be going, that, you know, they'd be on track. We've taken it one step further, including fire, police, you know, town management, everybody in it. That's, you know, we'll take this plan back to them on Tuesday just to get the final, because it was modified some from the last they saw it. So hopefully we'll have that'll be answered, and we'll have a joint letter that's, you know, that everybody signs to give to them, that's, you know, it says that they're all on board. I mean, they did say pretty much that they didn't have an issue with the site itself, the site plan itself. It was the, you know, impacts to the surrounding area was more the bigger question when we were last there, but
When's the next meeting?
the 28th,
28th.
Tuesday the 28th, yeah.
20,
And if it is approved, then
28.
our groundbreaking would be on schedule?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, just to follow up on that, not follow up, but to be sure I understood it. At that meeting, the planning board, they said they wanted us to approve and bring back to them traffic study, answer to on-site issues and off-site issues. What would be the on-site issues?
There was a peer review done by, they have an engineer, Graves and Associates, I think is their name, that does their peer review. They came back with a multiple page report on issues on the drawings that they saw and stuff. Yeah, the civil engineer for Lamar Pagano has already responded to all of it. There was another letter that came back from Graves saying that everything was okay. There was I think there's 4 things on there that were left. One was about the floodplain. Was, you know, he agreed with the concept that they were presenting, but couldn't say that it was good or bad because that was up to the Conservation Commission to make the ruling on it, which they accepted and they made the ruling on. And I forget.
Parking.
It was
Was resolved last night
yeah.
at the ZBA.
The parking stuff and
Height requirement.
That's one of the other issues. Did this concern the backside of the property over there, where that little road comes in? Because there was something discussed about that, and then they said there was concern about parking. The residents were concerned about parking, and not at this meeting, but somebody else told me. The residents were concerned about parking on West Street in front of the building if something was taking place, and over here there's overflow. And I said, I don't think the school building committee's got anything to say about parking on a street.
yeah, I mean, that was one thing that it did come out of, you know, they were looking at Masonic Circle, the town was asking, you know, that we're gonna petition for no parking signs along there.
Okay.
Along Masonic, just because of around the circle and stuff. But, you know, right now, we're nearly double the striped parking spaces that we have at the current middle school.
Yeah.
It's the same grade configuration, and then on-site, you know, you've got the circulation road all the way around, so I mean, I think we have more than enough on-site, you know, to take care of that. And
Well, that was my general comment, that
that parking issues were well addressed.
Yeah.
We're sure we got much more than we have down there at the other ones,
Yeah.
Sean Swanson.
So, but you're right, though, that in addition to this, with the planning board, there's the full response on all the outstanding letters, and that's the last letter just to be answered, and, you know, some of it was Conscom approval took care of that, some of it, ZBA took part of it, and the
I
rest
know
of
the
it.
chairperson was getting a little bit uptight, he was saying he wasn't trying to throw stones, out my words now, at anything, he just wanted to be sure there was good clarification.
Yeah.
Positive on both sides of the fence for their responsibilities and for the needs of the school department. Thank you.
Okay. Any other issues, comments? All right, so we have a motion and second on the floor, so, to incorporate this in, so, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? It's a vote. So, that was the real purpose for tonight's meeting. The next meeting, scheduled meeting, is the 25th still, with another one after on the March 11th. And in the meantime, if anything else percolates, we'll reach out to everybody or get the information out to you. As always, is the other agenda item, if anybody has anything else they want to bring up?
I just wanted a question, what is gonna happen with this building that we're sitting in right now?
Right now, it stays just like it is today.
So
But
when
the
school
administration
goes up,
stays in?
It's gonna stay here, and then eventually it's gonna be, well, is there any long-term thoughts about it? I heard people saying, well, they're gonna move all the administration up to other buildings and so on and so forth, and I said, well, what is this building gonna be doing sitting
The
here?
It's all
Tall talk.
Yeah,
Oh, that's what it's all about?
yeah, I think the bigger portion of that is the tenant at the other end of the building that, is a bigger wild card, that fire department,
Yeah,
as long as they're here, that was, which we have no control on right now, so,
It's a little premature right
Yeah.
now. You know, all kinds of thoughts,
okay.
but at the moment,
nothing yet.
the new school goes in, the administration stays here, the fire department's right there, and this place stays as is, and there's a new school behind it. All right,
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Seconds.